This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the
San Diego Padres.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Padre fan? Welcome to your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and your team is balling out once again. An 8-1 win over the Giants for the Padres, and they are now one game behind the Dodgers for first place in the NL West. Why does that matter in mid-August? Because obviously the pennant race is starting to take shape, and here's the big one, right? Big but. Bigger than the ones you were, never mind. But what I was going to say is, man, 8-1 the final, and a big win tonight because the Dodgers lose. Shohei gets rocked on the mound, takes a line drive off the leg, has to leave the game. Dodgers struggle. The Dodgers don't have a good bullpen at all, and their rotation's been shaky all year. So the Padres know they have an opening. They know they have a lane, which leads me to tonight. Guess what? The Padres hit a season-high 4 home runs. Guess who hit 3 of them? The same guys who I've been screaming about every day to be in a lineup every day. Gavin Sheets, and more so, Ryan O'Hearn. Sheets with 2 homers tonight. O'Hearn with a homer and an RBI single. Manny, he's back and he's bugging. He hits a 425-foot shot to left center field, and then Nando time, baby. Fernando takes a home run away from the first hitter of the game, so no homer in the first inning for the opponent for the first time, long time for the Padres after the consecutive games where Cease, where Darvish, where Cortez, where Pivetta all gave up homers in the first inning. Pivetta only gave up 1 run. The other guys gave up 11 total in the first inning, but it didn't matter because those games were lost by the starters. The offense clawed back, except the 6-0 game in LA, but the starters kept him in the game after that, and in most of those games, the offense clawed back and had a chance to win. They just did not get the dubs. Well, last night, Pivetta reversed the trend, and tonight, JP Sears, with help from Fernando, kept it going. Only the second start for Sears in a Padre uniform. So the Padres win 8-1. They hit 4 homers. O'Hearn, 2 for Sheets, 1 for Manny. Fernando with a couple of hits, the RBIs, and man, he takes away another homer tonight. So a great job by the Padres all the way around. Bullpen legit again, and we have so much to talk about tonight, to break down, to unpack. Padres Postcast, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Greashopper, call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media. Give me a follow, make you holla, and I will tell you this, okay? I will tell you this. The Padres getting it done right now. But don't be fooled. Mike Shildt might throw it all away. I'll tell you why in just a minute. This is your Padres Postcast, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. That's what he's been doing. That's what he's been doing. The Padres manager is in the crosshairs on this show. So if you love Mike Shildt that much, hey, maybe you don't want to hear this, but I have a feeling that you do and that you would, because it's not about the person, it's about the moves, it's about the job. It's not a personal attack, it's about the job he's doing or not doing that Stevie Wonder could see that he's been missing. Podcast Grease, thank you for making us your first watch or listen every day. We're free on YouTube right after the game. After the show, we upload, you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and Roku. You down with OTT? Yeah, you know me. So much to get to. Padres Postcast, it's Grease. Let's roll.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Gavin Sheets, who? Gavin Sheets hit 2 of San Diego's 4 homers. Ryan O'Hearn and Manny Machado added homers as well. Fernando Tatis Jr. robs Rafael Devers of a homer. Padres smashed the Giants 8-1, and they pull to within a game of the Dodgers in the NL West. Of course, the Dodgers come in for a weekend series, and the Padres looking to avenge that sweep from last weekend. But first, one more game against the Gents tomorrow night. Landon Roop carted off the field, the starter for the Giants. He's 7-7, by the way. He's had some arm issues this year. But Ramon Laureano, who DH'd tonight with Sheets out in left field, hits a line drive off of him in the 3rd inning, slipped on the mound, knee buckles, fell face first to the ground, and his knee does not look good. How about Fernando, though? A sensational leaping catch to take away a home run. If Fernando ever starts to really hit like Fernando again, with the power, with the average, with all that, dude, he's the best player in baseball by far. You're looking at Ohtani, you're looking at Bryce Harper. I love Shohei. He's a pitcher too, so you have to have him number 1. Obviously, if he didn't play for the Dodgers, you might say the same. Good Lord, if he played for the Padres, you'd have a party every day for the rest of your life. But my point is, when Fernando hits for power, hits for average, playing defense like he does, run the bases like he does, always taking the extra base, although he did get thrown out of third tonight after an RBI late in the game. But I'll say this, when he's at his best, he is right there with Shohei for best player in baseball, right there with Aaron Judge for best player in baseball. You can talk about Harper being a great hitter, Schwarber's having a monster year, but I'm talking 5 tools. How many players in this league have the tools that Fernando Tatis Jr. has? How many? I'm waiting. I'll do the Hogan on you. How many? How many? I'm asking, how many? How many can do what he does? Ohtani? Yeah, Ohtani might be the only one, but I don't know if he has this. Well, he has speed. I don't know if he has Fernando's speed. I'm not going to get ridiculous up in here. They're both amazing. Acuna, when he's healthy, is right up there as well. But JP Sears wasn't complaining. He was happy tonight, and look, he's 8-10, 1-1 as a Padre. Leadoff homer in the second for Gavin Sheets. And then he hit another one off a lefty and off a breaking ball. They say he's a fastball hitter who can only hit righties. They're wrong. And he's done a hell of a job. Look, Gavin Sheets coming into spring training, they didn't think much of him, right? He had a huge spring in Peoria. He comes out of it looking amazing. And his bat was a big reason why they are where they are right now. Before the reinforcements came in, when all you had was Diaz and Cronenworth and all those guys at the bottom of the order making outs almost every time up, he carried this team offensively through a lot of those games. And what's his reward? Sitting on the bench every night because his manager doesn't like the lefty versus lefty matchup for some reason. And Mike Shildt can go off on umpires all he wants about taking away a homer and taking too long on a replay. How about you play your best players every night when you should and where you should? How about you make Ryan O'Hearn your everyday first baseman, move Luis Arraez back to second, make Gavin Sheets your DH. Unless there's a real tough lefty and you don't like the matchup, then fine. I'm cool with that. But for God's sake, man, you brought in these great guys, AJ Preller, GM, phenomenal. You're giving up everything to win now. I was just texting with Javier Reyes. He's like, cut him some slack. Javi, Locked On Padres podcast, day in, day out. We're boys. We hit each other up. We do crossovers with the shows. But, he's like, cut him some slack, talking about Mike Shildt. And he's the younger generation where everybody gets a participation trophy and everyone wants to take it easy on everyone, unless you're in the media and a bully like Mike Shildt turns around your question and goes, hey, what would you do with him? I'll tell you, that poor kid. I'll tell you what I'll do with him. I would play Ryan O'Hearn at first base and Luis Arraez at second base. That's what I would do. And I would stand up and scream and shout and argue with him until they turned the lights off, until he answered my question. That's the difference between having people like me in there now and the people they have in there. Because a bunch of people are in there. They're all like, hey, we don't want to do anything to jeopardize our place in here and lose our press pass. Or the station that's being paid by the team or by the league to carry the games, or they're paying, whatever. They're partners with them. They're paying. They're not being paid. They're partners with them. My point is, they're all being told what to say. They're all being told what they can't ask. And what you don't get is what you should get, which is what you get on the show. And people like us and shows like ours are the only things that keep it real in the world of sports now, because everybody's paid to be on these podcasts. Hey, we love you. You're doing an amazing job. No, you're not. You're blind and deaf and dumb, and you're not paying attention because you have a guy on your team who is an all-star. You have a guy on your team who was voted in by his peers as a DH in the American League. Didn't say anything there about sitting him on the bench against lefties. Why is Ryan O'Hearn not in the lineup every day? I think that's about to change. I would pray to God that it's about to change, and I don't know why this guy loves Jake Cronenworth so much. What did Jake do again tonight? I mean, look, I don't even have to look. I don't even have to double check. Watch. Here we go. Jake Cronenworth tonight. Jake Cronenworth tonight. Jake Cronenworth. Hey, what do you know? 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Great job, Jake. 240 hitter. Manager loves you. That's all that matters, while Ryan O'Hearn sits on the bench for some reason against lefties. But tonight, not that night. 2 RBIs, had a homer. Sheets had 2 homers. Manny and Tati are going to do it. But it's the assemblage of the lineup around them that really matters. And making dumb choices like not having Suarez demoted at this point, all the blown saves, when Mason Miller should clearly be your closer, very clearly, to everyone but you. And Ryan O'Hearn should be your first baseman, very clearly, to everyone but you. So there you have it. I don't want to make it seem like I'm going after the manager of the Padres, because I'm not. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him as a person. But when you attack the umpires and you attack the media and you try to bully a media member, well, what would you do with him, and reverse the question on him? No, man, no. Your GM is the GM of the year for that move that he made to bring in, to get O'Hearn and Laureano from the Orioles for what you got him for, and to get Miller and then Sears, who gave you a big win tonight. AJ Preller's done an amazing job with this team, and the players have balled out, and the ones who are here, and they've done it, and Sheets has done everything you've asked from. So the manager has to get it right, and I'm not letting him off the hook. I will never let a manager off the hook, because managers just love to do things all game long to justify their existence. And it used to be even worse before the new rules. Like, managers and pitching coaches just sit down and let them play. Let them play, man. Let them play. I've never seen a guy who overmanages a team be super successful. I'm not saying Schulte does that, and I don't have anything against him. I'm just saying Ryan O'Hearn needs to be in that lineup every day. Luis Arraez needs to be your second baseman. Jake Cronenworth needs to be next to you on the bench handing you sunflower seeds. That's the way it goes. That's the way it should be. And anybody who says anything else, I would never trust a thing they have to say about baseball, sports, life, or anything close to it. What in the world is this guy watching? What is he watching? Evan G., what up, man? What is he watching? What is Schulte watching? Can someone please explain to me why Robert Suarez is still the closer of this team, for this team? And can someone please explain to me right now how Jake Cronenworth is still in the lineup? It's been 5 years of this, right? Am I wrong? Really? The guy's a 240 hitter. You look at the fielding numbers and you look at the wins above replacement and all those things. I mean, what would Iglesias is better than Cronenworth. I'd rather have Iglesias going through the infield, giving those guys DH days. And then when it comes down to O'Hearn, you give him a day off, you give him a DH day, then maybe you could put Cronenworth at first base for a day, or Arraez has got to be your everyday second baseman. If you're going to win a world championship with this team, Jake Cronenworth cannot be in the lineup. And I don't care. I really don't care what anybody in the organization thinks, what anybody at any of the flagship stations think or the newspapers think, because they're in business with the Padres. And on some level, and that level has increased over the years, they're being told what they can or can't say. And it is what it is. I've worked for those stations for years. I did the Marlins pre and post game for years where they won the 2003 World Series. They wanted to can my ass because I'm on the flagship station saying things like this. And they were telling me what I couldn't say. And that's 20 years ago. Okay. Same thing with the Diamondbacks in 2001. I was not on the flagship station. I was on a station. We were doing a live show every night after the playoffs. And they said, if you want to keep getting these guests, tell him not to say what he's been saying. It happens all the time. And here we are. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Got to get to the break. We still have the turning point. We still have the star of the game. We still have a look ahead to tomorrow. But an 8-1 win. Ryan O'Hearn with a big night. Gavin Sheets with a huge night. Manny with a homer. Fernando with a big night offensively and defensively. JP Sears and the bullpen yet again. It was Peralta, Matsui, and Morgan tonight. Zip, 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 zip. Nothing. Zip it. I'm old enough to remember Morton Downey Jr. Zip it. Talk show host with a cigarette telling everybody to zip it. That's what he was doing, right? Well, zip it is what I'm going to say. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. 8-1 Padres. Hey. Managers should sit down and let their teams play. Anyway, and pick the right lineups, put the right guys out there. More on that on the other side. We'll break it down, tell you how the scoring happened, tell you what happened throughout the game. And then, of course, we got the turning point and we got the star of the game and a look ahead to tomorrow when the Padres can put themselves in great position. Why? Because you're a game out behind the Dodgers. You went into the last Dodgers series at Chavez de Stinkhole up by a game, but tomorrow the Dodgers are playing the Rockies one last time before that, and Kershaw's on the mound against Chase Dollander. So we'll see what happens in that game. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Got to tell you about a great deal from a great friend of ours and a friend of yours too, keeping the action on the action and putting you in prime position to see all your favorite sporting events, concerts, and all those things. It's Grease. It's the Postcast. Keep it here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. What time is it? It is game time. Have you ever met a girl that you're trying to date, but have you ever decided at the last minute that you want to head to a ball game with your friends, with your family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize, hey, I want to be there at Petco where they sell out on Mondays and Tuesdays. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. Let me explain. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. How do they do it? They make buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app, they actually drop. They go down, down, down. The closer you get to the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worrier out of buying. Plus, Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, making it easy to browse the app for an exciting upcoming MLB game like, I don't know, the 3 Dodgers games at Petco this weekend. Are you tired of endless scrolling, trying to find the best deal? Game Time's zone picks pick the best seats in your section for you. Spit flying out of my mouth. I'm so excited. Seat views right in the app before you buy, so we know exactly where you'll be. I sat behind Pesky's pole at Fenway Park as a kid. I would have never bought that damn ticket to be obstructed by a beam. And yes, it's still there, right? Don't let that happen to you. Game time zone deals. Pick the best seats. Seat views right in the app before you buy. You know exactly where you'll be, not blocked by Pesky's pole. It is what it is. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. They always apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB. Locked on MLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. A lot of things to do in a short time to do them. And I went out a little bit long on that tangent, but man, I'm just sick of this. You know, Preller does an amazing job. Houdini, you know, the how he's able to pull Laureano and O'Hearn from the Orioles for what he did it for. And to get those guys from the A's, Miller, and to a lesser degree, Sears. Miller could be your closer for 5-6 years. You stole his ass. You stole him. The moves that you've made, the players you've brought in at the deadline, huge additions for this team. You fortified what was already a top 3 bullpen in baseball, probably made it number 1 without question, right? You brought in a lot of depth. You brought in guys to solidify the bottom of the lineup, but you also brought in one hell of a power-hitting first baseman who hits lefties well, who's an all-star, and your manager's sitting him on the bench. So the players doing their part, AJ's doing his part. It's time for Mike Schilt to step up and do his. And I don't know why more people – well, actually I do, because they're being told what they can and can't say because they have affiliations with the team, which we do not. All right, here we go. This game turned somewhere tonight, did it not? It was early, and it was nice to have it happen early in this game. What was the turning point?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
All right, so the turning point we have here, while you're here, it was the first inning. And this is why it was the turning point, because the Padres had given up a home run in the first inning for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you know what I mean? And Tuesday, 4 games in a row. Homers in the first inning, ding, ding, dong, every game, right? Cease gets rocked. 3 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second. They lose 6-0 on Saturday. Then on Sunday, it's Yu Darvish. She gives up 4 in the first, turns it around. The Padres get close. They lose by a run. Then Monday, it's Nestor Cortez. Same thing. He settles down after. The 4 spot in the first 3 homers, by the way, given up in the first inning. And the Padres are shell-shocked. Every starter all the way through, giving up homers in the first inning. And then what happens? What happens tonight? Your leadoff hitter for the San Francisco Giants. Yeah, what happens? JP Sears on the mound for the Padres. You know what I'm saying? So you get Ramos to strike out looking. There's 1 out there. But then what happens? Devers comes to the dish, smashes one to right. It's a line drive, too. It's not a moon ball. It's a line drive. Fernando read it perfectly, got a perfect jump on it, and literally races it down to the wall, gets there, takes a split second. He made it look so easy. It's one of the hardest things you could ever do in baseball. So Nando takes away the homer. They don't score in the first inning. And just like that, the trend is reversed. The Padres get up in the bottom of the first inning. And what happens? The guy the manager never wants to put in the lineup, what does he do? The all-star? Yeah, Ryan O'Hearn. Singles to center. Fernando Tatis Jr., who had doubled, scores. And Fernando had himself a big night tonight, which leads us to...
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Oh, man, we got some candidates tonight, do we not? JP Sears, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts, 93 pitches. Nice job by him. Scoreless inning for Wandy Peralta with 2 strikeouts. 2/3 of a scoreless inning for Yuki Matsui, although he walked 2 guys. And then David Morgan, an inning and a third. He had a strikeout, but no hits allowed, no runs, no anything. So the bullpen, again, perfect. And JP Sears with his first win as a Padre. He was rocked against the Diamondbacks on August 4th. Picked it up tonight, but none of those guys are the player of the game. The player of the game could be Fernando Tatis Jr. Took away a homer, went 2 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. On most nights, that'd be good enough, but not tonight, my friends. How about... I don't know, Ryan O'Hearn, 2 for 3, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, and on any given night with the homer as well, that would be good enough. And it would be and it should be, but not tonight because Gavin Sheets, holy Sheets, look at that Sheets. Man, he had the Giants sheetsing themselves. All right, I'm done with that. But Gavin Sheets tonight, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, 4 RBIs, had the 2 homers. Yeah, let's not play this guy. When's the last time we saw Sheets in the lineup? Yep. You know, you don't want to put this guy in the lineup, or you don't want to put O'Hearn in there either. But Gavin Sheets is our player of the game. And with that, we take a quick peek ahead to tomorrow. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're only a day away, and it's getaway day, and you have a chance to tie the Dodgers for first if they lose on that day. Anyway, it is what it is. But the Padres are minus 175 on the money line. They are minus 1.5 on the run line. Why would that be? Oh my God, the Giants are pitching Justin Verlander. He's 1-9 with a 4.23. Yes, that Justin Verlander. And he will face Dylan Cease, 5-11, 4.61. Dylan Cease. All right, he looked good against the Giants the last time he faced them. Got lit up for a 5 spot in the first 2 innings against the Dodgers last time out. This nonsense of striking out 8 to 10 guys and then giving up a 5 spot, a 4 spot, a 3 spot in certain innings. This different version of himself showing up for each inning of each start has got to stop. Dylan Cease, I'm begging you, for God's sake, please at least give the Padres a quality start here. Everyone in the bullpen, all your big guns are rested for tomorrow. You got to get this dub and at least stay within a game of the Dodgers. Why? Because otherwise you don't have to sweep them to have the lead at the end of the weekend, right? So you want to figure a way to where you possibly can take the lead this weekend over the Dodgers. So a win tomorrow and a loss by them, and you're tied. By the way, the Cubs won tonight too, so you're still 2 behind them in the wild card, but you're firmly entrenched in that 2nd spot ahead of the Mets. No diggity. So the Padres with a big one tomorrow. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, and I have a feeling about Dylan Cease against Verlander tomorrow. Maybe you go Padres and the over in that game. I get a feeling we're going to see a show. At least with a righty out there, you'll see Sheets and O'Hearn again, and the manager won't take his 2 biggest bats out of the lineup without giving you a chance to even contribute, right? And I know you got Manny and Fernando. I'm saying those guys tonight, they got it done offensively. Sheets and O'Hearn, 2 homers for Sheets, 4 RBIs. O'Hearn, the homer, the RBI single. And again, he's been red hot. Sheets right now, I mean, he's streaky. So hopefully those guys can keep it going. Fernando's been teasing us. He's getting it going offensively. And Manny might be snapping out of a slump because RBI last night, 2 RBIs actually, but the first one, even on a ground ball RBI, that was something that snapped his slump. He didn't have an RBI the whole month before last night. So there you have it. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. 8-1 the final. The Padres all of a sudden with a 2-game winning streak. All of a sudden, just a game back of the Dodgers. All of a sudden, up 2-1 in this series, 9-3 on the year over the Giants. So Sears gets it done. The bullpen, fantastic as usual, without using any of the All-Stars or the big guns. And it was Fernando and Manny, but then it was Sheets and O'Hearn getting it done tonight. Thank you so much for watching Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at @JimGrease_ on social media. Give me a follow, make you holler. Thank you for making us your first watch or listen every day. Live on YouTube after the game. Then we upload, you download right after the show. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and Roku. You down with OPP? Hell no, it's 2025. It's OTT, over the top television, and it is free as well. So, by the way, Locked On Padres podcast, day in, day out, the ins, the outs, the ups and downs with Javi, myself after every game with a postcast. Tomorrow, 1:10 first pitch. You got Dylan Cease on the mound, and you are looking to win 3 out of 4 and possibly tie the Dodgers, who play the Rockies tomorrow. We'll be here around 4 o'clock tomorrow with the postcast. Thank you so much for being here, making us your first watch or listen every day. Locked On Padres podcast, always number 2. And then you can't get enough baseball. It's Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, until a World Series champion is crowned. It's local analysis on a national scale. It's MLB Game Night. Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. 8-1 Padres. Thank you so much for being here. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Keep your game tight and your mind right, baby. I'm out.